Hello, good morning. I hope you are well and that you had a beautiful San Valentine's Day. I'm Irini Hara from palomablanca.org, and I come today to speak to you about a very complex topic that is related not only with women who carry a womb, but also with men, with all of us. But unfortunately, this topic is considered in these days still quite a taboo, and many people are even afraid to speak about it. And I came because I already had this workshop with several ladies for St. Valentine's. It was a free workshop for information, and also we had some exercises to create some more interactivity. And as there were a certain number of ladies and they were curious and asked many questions at the end, I thought it would be good to actually speak about it to more of you, because more of you might not know exactly what womb trauma is. And once you will know, probably you will be motivated to start something so you can understand if this womb trauma also affects you and your life. And as I said, this is not only for women. So if a man will see this, consider that you have been in the womb of your mother before you are born, and therefore you still have the energetic imprint of your mother. And the womb of your mother was in the womb of her mother while she was in gestation period, and her mother also in the womb of her mother, and so on. So imagine that all these women are a whole lineage, and you, no matter of your gender, came from their wombs. It's like that doll in Russian tradition that is called matryoshka, where you have a bigger doll and inside her several smaller dolls, encapsulated one in each other. It is the story of the womb, or the best illustration for a womb carried in a womb and in another womb, and so on. But before I start to speak more and to ask you questions that I will invite you to answer, so you still have some time to prepare a sheet of paper and something to write, I would like to guide you in a short meditation that will bring you some insights and some memories. And so please sit on a chair with your feet touching the ground, the body relaxed, or you can also lay down if you prefer on a mat or a bed or a couch, and start to breathe in and out slowly and continuously. Don't pause between inhaling and exhaling. This means that you will breathe continuously, softly, at your own pace. You breathe in light, pause for a while, and then you breathe out, you exhale through the mouth. The breath in, the inhaling has to be deep, and so the exhaling. And do this breathing deeply, continuously, several times until you reach a place of relaxation, of softness, of calmness inside your body. Imagine that with each breath in and out, you release tensions, burdens, negative emotions from your body, from the muscles, from the bones, from the cells, from all the organs. Release everything and put your body in a comfortable, relaxed state. And then focus your awareness on your heart. Look inside your heart space and see, feel what is there. Maybe there is a sensation, maybe there is a feeling or a shape, maybe there is a memory, anything that you can find in your heart space. Look to that space with love, with understanding, with compassion. And then imagine that you as a daughter start to shrink and to become a child, like in the Alice in Wonderland when she falls down the rabbit hole. And you shrink to the size of your little child, the little girl or the little boy. And when you get to this size, a window opens inside your heart towards something else. And this little child looks towards and through this window with curiosity and impatience to explore what is out there. Maybe you can see the stars, the clouds, the sky, the forest, the field, or maybe it's something else. The child opens the window and passes the threshold and then starts to descend steps of a ladder and descends step by step until it gets inside your belly. For women, it is your womb space. For men, it's the energetic imprint they got from their mother that can also be called womb or hara. And once this little child got inside the space, it looks around and connects with this darkness, with the sensations that are there, with the shapes, with the colors and the sounds. Explores curiously all the space. And it might be that an image or memories come to you now while this happens. Welcome this image or the memory. Receive it as a gift from your womb. And then this little child starts to go on a spiral that goes down deeper in this darkness. And it descends this spiral slowly until it reaches a door. And when the door opens, the little child steps over it and gets into another space. How do you feel this time, the darkness? Knowing that this is the womb of your mother, is where you, after conception, you have lived for more or less 9 months, is where you could feel the beat of her heart, her emotions, her worries, her joys, her struggles, her love. How is this space now? It's still dark and deep, or maybe there are some lights or shadows. It's still a soft place, or it's heavy. Appreciate the qualities of the space. Let your inner child to explore more inside the space until he or she gets to another door. And stepping over this threshold, she or he finds again another space. And this is the womb of your grandmother, mother of your mother. And so on, inner child, your inner child, explores all the wombs that came before you, all their qualities, the memories, the sensations, and you feel it all. You guide this inner child in this journey of exploration until he or she gets to a last door. This is a bigger door. And behind this door, when it opens, your little child sees the stars, the moon, and the galaxies. You are now in the cosmic womb. The Great Mother called you home, and she wants to share with you this space and this experience as unique and beautiful. The cosmic womb invites you to explore all that is there, to float in the space where everything started and when everything will end. You have been called today to this space to retrieve something important, something magical, something precious that remembers you that your life is important and it matters, not only to your ancestors, not only to your parents, but to the whole universe. Accept this gift and the blessing of the cosmic womb of the Great Mother. It is a miracle, and you carry this miracle inside you. You came here guided by your inner child. She or he knew that you needed to come here and remember who you are. Remember who you might become, because this is a coming home through the darkness of the wombs who came before you, through the darkness of all ages. Take another deep breath in and out, and thanking to the Great Mother for this gift, ask your inner child to come back from the journey. He or she comes back through all the wombs that went through until it gets back into your womb or hara, and from here starts to climb again the ladder that will bring he or she back to your heart through that window that opened at the beginning of the meditation. When you are feeling that the child came back to your heart, she or he starts to get back to the initial size and shape, becoming the adult you are now. And you feel inside you the beat of your heart is the beat of your drum, the drum that keeps you alive. And if you place a hand on your heart and the other hand on your womb, you will start to feel the same drum beat inside your womb or belly. And you will feel this connection between the womb and the heart in the body, in the energetic body you have. So feel this vibration. It's the frequency of love and life inside yourself, and spread it around you, around your body and in the world with every beat of this drum. And when you feel ready again, Start to reconnect with your breath, inhaling and exhaling, and then slowly open your eyes, coming back, coming back to yourself, to your body, to your thoughts, to the space you were before this meditation started. And before I will start with few questions that you will be invited to answer for yourself, because they contain clues about those aspects of you, of your life, that can give you important information about which kind of trauma you carry inside yourself. I would like to recommend you two books. I'm not sure if you will be able to see. One is by Franz Rupert, Early Trauma, Pregnancy, Birth, and First Years of Life. And I'm going to read in a while a short passage from this book that actually explains what trauma is in a very simple way. And the other book I recommend is written by Mark Willing, which is considered a wise and trustworthy guide on the journey toward healing. Um, he's a professor and a director of an institute working with traumas. And the book is called It Didn't Start With You: How Inherited Family Trauma Shapes Who We Are and How to End the Cycle. And what it says here is that depression, anxiety, chronic pain, phobias, obsessive thoughts, the evidence is compelling. The roots of these issues may reside in the traumas of our parents, grandparents, and even great grandparents. The latest research affirms that traumatic experience is passed on to future generations, and that this emotional inheritance, hidden in everything from our gene expression to everyday language, plays a far greater role in our health than ever previously understood. And one of the tools that actually uses and explores and teaches is family constellation, um, an alternative system of psychotherapy founded by Bert Hellinger in 80s. And I am a facilitator of family constellation, and I can say from the experience I gathered in the last years that actually it's very much true that our ancestors gave us an inheritance that in many cases is not easy to live because it's made of many traumas, as they lived in traumatized times, and we still live in traumatized times. So our mission as parents, as those who assure a future to next generations, is to understand what it comes from the past, inside ourselves, inside our body and psyche, and what it can go to the future, to our children and grandchildren, if we don't stop this cycle, because it is a vicious cycle. And so, as I said, Franz Rupert speaks about what trauma is, and I'm going to read about this. The most important criterion for what constitutes a trauma is the fact that the human psyche is unable to process traumatic experiences and integrate them into the individual's life, and so has to split in order to keep the memory of the traumatic experience out of the person's consciousness. A traumatized psyche is therefore unable to handle the stream of impressions of reality in a balanced way. It permanently resists reality by denying, suppressing, and not wanting to know about the traumatizing experiences. Unlike stressful experiences, it is not possible for an individual simply to recover from traumatizing experiences, which remain psychologically active until the specific trauma is worked on. So, in most of the cases, really traumatic events, especially those that occur during the pregnancy of our mother with ourselves and in early childhood, when many of us don't have so many memories of the first years of our childhood, they have long lasting effects in our life. And we don't remember them because, in order to protect ourselves, those traumatic events, those memories, are hidden, are in the subconscious. And to bring them back to light, to see them, to understand them, to accept and heal all these traumas, it needs a conscious effort. It needs us to understand that we have to start on this healing part, and that no matter how difficult this might be, it's very useful and will help us to become healthier, to become happier, more complete, and more accomplished and fulfilled in every area of our life. And so when this happens, our children can also benefit because we will learn to educate them, to help them grow in a healthier way, happier way. So now, if you already have your sheet of paper with yourself and something to write, I will invite you to answer to a few questions. There will be 13 in total, and you will have 2 minutes, from 1 to 2 minutes, to answer to these questions. If you want to answer now, if you want to answer later, you can also do it later. And the first question will be, what womb trauma means for you? You can also answer by just writing down a few keywords that point to womb trauma. The second question is, what is the relationship with your mother? Even if your mother is not alive anymore, you can write down about the overall qualities of the relationship as you experienced while she was alive. The third question is there any secret or special story running in your family that might relate to how you feel now about yourself? And then the fourth question, what do you know about your own birth? The fifth question: do you have any syndrome, pathology, or symptom that requires medication? It means taking medicines, pills, or whatever. Do you have any syndrome, pathology, or symptom that requires medication? The sixth question: do you have in your life a tribe or a community around you able to support you? Do you have a tribe or community around you to support you? The seventh question is any history of psychopathology in your family? And this can mean from depression, anxiety disorders, autism, ADHD, um, schizophrenia, and other forms of um, psychopathology of mental disease. Do you have any history of this in your family? The next question is: do you feel accepted by your family? Do you feel you are acknowledged, seen, embraced? Do you feel accepted by your family? The next question again: did you experience in your life the need or urge to save, rescue, and protect your parents? Did you experience this need to save your parent, your mother, or your father, to protect them, even if you were a child? Next question again is: how do you feel when you are alone? Are you able to stay with yourself for a while? Are you able to be alone with yourself? Next question: do you have any recurrent dream or nightmare from your childhood? By recurrent dream, I mean a dream that repeats several times along your life, or maybe a nightmare that also bothers you from time to time in your sleep. And then another question is: are you able to draw in detail your genealogical tree down from yourself up to the fourth generation back? Are you able to draw in detail this genealogical tree back to the fourth generation. And that means not only to know names, birth years, or death years of the members of your genealogical tree, but also how many children, how many aborted or stillbirths, miscarriages, if there were illnesses or pathologies, if there were crimes or events that might have been traumatic for the whole family or the lineage, and so on. Are you able to do this? And then another question is, what is your major struggle or difficulty in this moment of your life? Do you have any major struggle or difficulty in this moment of your life? And then a last question is, what self-love means to you? Do you know how to love yourself? So if you have been able to answer to all these questions, you already have a lot of information about where and how to start to heal your traumas, your wounds. And before speaking a little bit more about what is womb trauma actually, I wish to remember you that movie that maybe a lot of you already saw. It's a very interesting. I like it a lot also because the main character is interpreted by Keanu Reeves, one of my favorite actors, male actors. And do you remember in this movie called Matrix, that conversation between the black man, Morpheus, who is a kind of psychoanalyst actually for Keanu Reeves, and him offering him two pills. One is red and one is blue. And if he gets one pill, he will continue to stay plugged in the matrix and to live his life as nothing happened, in an unconscious way, in an automatic way, considering that everything happens around him is a normal reality. While if he takes the other pill, he can accept the challenge to unplug from this matrix, to get inside himself and know himself better. And actually, the moment he accepts to unplug himself, to get through the veil of this illusion of what reality is, of what life is for him, this detachment from the mother, no, that is actually for us in a symbolic way is the birth, going through the birth channel. That is one of the most traumatic events through which we come alive. And in this journey that we call life, it's actually very difficult, right? But he accepts this challenge. And then he goes in a place with other people who accepted to unplug themselves from this matrix, living a life that might not be so much fulfilling, but where they have freedom. And when he gets killed, what makes him back, come back to life is love. So the only energy that actually can defy death and loss and trauma is the energy of love. And this is one of the reasons that when I guided you in this meditation today, I asked you to connect with your inner child in your heart and then to connect with the womb and create that channel, that opening between the heart and the memories that you store in your womb. So you can heal it through the beat of your heart, through creating that energy, that frequency of love and compassion that you need to start this unplugging process. Because, in metaphoric terms, when you become conscious and you wish to connect with your traumas, with your womb traumas, you start this journey of unplugging from a matrix of conditioning. It is the conditioning created by all the traumatic events that happened before your birth through the ancestral line, during the pregnancy of your mother, at birth, and in the years that followed. So getting to know all these events, accessing them at an energetic level inside your body, because the body is the clue for this process to happen, will offer you the tools you need to get back or to unplug you from your own matrix. And everything can change in the moment you decide to end this cycle of suffering and struggle. So, why did I ask you if you would be able to retrieve or to draw, to write down the genealogical tree? Because, as I already said, it contains information about happenings, events, traumas that many of your ancestors had because they went through difficult times. There were times of wars, of famine, times of all sorts of abuses, of aggressivity. And all this imprinted you at the genetic level. And then, of course, there were the environments, the family you lived in, the conditioning from the society, the pollution nowadays, um, the processed food we eat nowadays that in most cases can be poisonous because it's full of additives. All these factors from environment, they actually put an imprint on your genetic code and can create actually changes or modifications. It is a branch of genetics that is called epigenetics that actually takes under study of this aspect. And so imagine that 4 generations before you, they got traumatized. And then you are conceived and you are in the womb of your mother. And there are cases when actually the conception can be the result of the rape or aggression. Or the mother is too young and she is not yet ready to conceive a child, and it just happens by case. And then she is anxious and split inside herself between the desire to abort, which sometimes happens, or to keep the child because her heart tells her to do so. When children are aborted or miscarried in the womb of a mother, this creates a traumatic event. And the energy of this event will continue to exist there along her life until the moment she's aware of it. And if she will have in the future other children, as it happens in many cases, the children coming after this traumatic event happened will actually absorb this event. They will be somehow part of it. And the trauma so continues. And then, of course, along the 9 months or less of pregnancy, there might be other events and emotional states for your mother that impact the fetus. Because the fetus is very much dependent of the mother through the umbilical cord and feels everything, every emotions, every sadness, if it's depression, if it's anxiety, if it's thought that she might not be prepared to have a baby, that she doesn't know if we'll have enough money, or maybe she's sad because the relationship with the father is not going very well. All these accumulate while the fetus lives in the womb and impregnates the psyche of the fetus at the subconscious level. And most of us, in time, we don't have the memory of what happened. But this memory that is an implicit memory, is in subconscious, is hidden, can be accessed through therapy, can be accessed at an energetic level through the body. As the body will keep the memory of what happened there. And then, of course, the mother delivers the baby. And sometimes this is extremely traumatic because maybe it's the first child, or just some complications, or she's already sick and she needs medication. So the fetus will suffer also from the mother receiving medication. And then are all sorts of interventions, especially those that were made in the past with the forceps, very aggressive for the child, or nowadays the induced delivery with other kinds of tools. All these are potential factors for creating, for inducing more trauma on us. And then in some cases, after birth, there might be a short or longer separation from the mother. And that means that either the mother or the child need to stay in hospital for a while to be taken care of, or the mother dies. This was frequent happening in the past when the medical service was not so advanced as today. And then the child is abandoned or given for adoption. In family constellation terminology, this is called an interrupted movement. And in many cases that I saw from my practice, is actually another big factor that creates trauma in people. It's a trauma of abandonment. When the child needs the mother in the first year of life, the mother is the most important person for a child. And she or he cannot have her because she's not there, or she is, but for a while she was missing. So the child is unable to create a primordial, initial bond, affectionate bond, emotional bond, physical bond with the mother. And then along our childhood, there are other events. Sometimes there are other siblings coming in our life, or they already existed there. And there might be competition. There might be distributed attention of the mother and father between them, preferences that create other traumatic events. And we grow, and we become adults, and we start to live our lives conditioned by all these events that happen. And in most cases, we don't even have a conscious, explicit memory of them. And we wonder why I'm not able to find the right partner. Why do I feel it's so difficult for me to connect with other people? Why do I feel accomplished? I don't find the job that I like. I have issues with money, with earning my subsistence. My projects are failing. I feel lost. I feel I don't have a direction in life. I get depressed easily, or maybe there are other symptoms, psychosomatic symptoms, where the body starts to express the stress and the traumas in signs that appear on my body. And we wonder why, and we feel like it's unfair because this might not happen to other people around us. Why us? Have we been chosen to suffer and to struggle? Well, the answer is no. We haven't been chosen. It just happened for a reason. But being traumatized doesn't mean that we should continue in this state forever or that there is no a solution. We cannot find a solution to our struggles and difficulties or problems. The answer also starts with us, with accessing what is inside us. And especially for women, the big and most important work to be done if we want to unblock our energies and to become happy and more fulfilled is the work with the womb. And this is actually my work too, because when I started in 2016 and I was called to start to work with women to gather them in circles, I didn't know very well why I was called to do this work. But in time, and now it's like 5 years after this decision I made, I understand more and more because while I'm working with myself, with my own issues, traumas, wounds, patterns, I am now able to help you, to help other women to search into the womb, to open this channel between womb and heart, and to retrieve that wisdom that is there, and to start this healing process. That is a long lasting process. You cannot expect miracles. Sometimes they come, they happen. And I saw it when I work with family constellation. But sometimes you need to be patient and to understand that this is a process. It's a lifelong term process. It never ends. But more you work once you start, more you will be unplugged from that matrix that keeps you prisoner in a state of unfulfillment and unhappiness and sickness. It's your choice. It's a very important choice to make because this also means that when you become aware that you need to do this work, you actually take back your power, your authority in what matters for you, the authority around your own life, the power of decision, of making the right decisions for yourself and of finding the right solutions for yourself. It's just a matter of saying yes to yourself. And this is where you break the cycle of suffering and trauma, and when you can start to manifest the self love I spoke initially about. And this is my invitation too today to you women or to you men, that you start to reconnect with what you have inside yourself, inside your body, and do this work. It's an inner work, an inner process. Sometimes can be very painful, but it's worthy. It's worthy because you are worthy to become that version of yourself that one day you will say, I am proud of myself and I love myself and I give myself everything I deserve. So this was an intervention today on this topic of womb trauma. There are many other things to say, but I really hope that for all of you who listen to this, it's just the start for something beautiful and important. If you want to connect with me and know more about how I work and what I do and how can maybe I can help you, you just subscribe to the channel on YouTube here at Inihara, or you search for information on my website, palomablanca.org. Or if you want to know more and really connect on a more personal level, you just send me an email to palomablanca0175 around gmail.com. There are many events starting now in March where you will be invited. I can hold you space and guide you in several languages, as I'm a polyglot. So I'm speaking English, as you see, but I also speak Romanian, Italian, and Portuguese in a very fluent way. I started to speak a little bit of Norwegian, but I'm still on a basic level. And I also know a little bit of French. But these four languages, English, Romanian, Italian, and Portuguese, I'm really fluent. So according to your nationality, I can also guide you in your own language. And of course, I also organize workshops where I can offer you guidance in all these languages, but mainly in English and Romanian. So I end this short intervention. Well, not so short, but anyway, I hope it was useful. And subscribe to my channel and check on my webpage. From that webpage, you can go to Facebook, to my groups and page, Womb Circle Seeds of Light and Wisdom, where you will find all these events I'm speaking about. And more others will come. And I'm also planning to do more interventions about trauma, and especially womb trauma in the future. Probably more focus on some aspects of this very important and complex topic. Wishing you a good day. I thank you for today, and blessed be your womb or hara, and blessed be your heart.